Hello, everybody. It's me, Dr. Ace, the Global Mentor Coach, and I'm coming to you. I told you guys I was doing this series where I'm highlighting some phenomenal people who are doing some wonderful things. These are your everyday unsung heroes, people who are behind the scenes, so to speak, who are a little bit in what we would consider obscurity. That need a little push to the forefront. And I'm very excited. Today I have a very good friend, an author. Her name is Gennet Thompson. I'm telling you, she's bigger than the Budgetnista, or she's going to be bigger than the Budgetnista. She is amazing, phenomenal. If you haven't gotten her book, it's in here somewhere. I had it. I was just reading it. But I promise you, she's probably got a copy of it somewhere. There you go. Taming the Want Impulse. I'm telling you, want to get it. Because it is, she's got some practical applications, some practical tips on how you can really get a hold of your finances and just be able to do the things that you want to do, and that nothing financially is without your reach. So thank you so much for joining me and deciding to kind of go on this journey with me on highlighting all of these unsung heroes who have some phenomenal information and some phenomenal things to kind of help all of us guide our lives and to be better people. In our first interview, we had Coach Nadia, and she was really talking to us about fitness and just redefining the narrative of what it is to be fit, and just learning about her journey and how she got into fitness. And now we're going to learn all about author Gennet Thompson. I'm telling you, and how she really kind of overcame the want impulse in her finances. So we're going to open up this interview with kind of like my boom question. What was the catalyst for you to write your book? Like, how did you get to the point that you felt like this was something that you needed to release out there and put out there for people?
Well, first of all, I wanted to thank you for that beautiful intro. I really appreciate that. Regarding your question, I think the way I got to it was I started making a lot more friends. I used to stay a lot to myself, but I started making a lot more friends. And something that I noticed is a lot of them were always complaining about money. And it wasn't necessarily about a specific bill or a specific payment they had to make. It would just be about, oh, I'd like to do this, but I don't have the money. Or, oh, wow, that's great. How are you able to go on this trip? How are you able to afford it? Right. And I started thinking, wow, well, what exactly is the situation with these people? Is it that they don't have the money, or is it that they're not being a good steward of what they have? And so once I got to hang out with the people and I saw their spending habits, I realized, wow, people don't know where their money is going. And so that was basically the initial thought, wait, I really probably need to write a book about this, because for some reason, my friends thought I had a lot of money. And I was thinking, well, I probably do to you, because I'm not shopping all the time anymore. Right. So that was basically the catalyst. I was tired of seeing people complain about money, tired of people being broke, tired of my friends not being able to go on vacation with me because I don't have the money. Right. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to write a book, because you guys are wondering how I'm able to do these things. I want you to know how I'm able to do these things.
That's so good. And I think what we're hearing, your heartbeat is, your desires for people to be free, to live and enjoy life. And I tell people, Jesus didn't die for me to just work and die.
That's right.
And pay bills and die. You don't have to be a Christian. You were not born to be on this earth.
That's right.
To work, pay bills, and
die. That's
There's
right.
the whole world.
Yes.
To explore. And I think we're intended to explore. You might not want to go to the same places as the next person.
That's right.
But, if you can't avoid even just a staycation, that's and that's something, and maybe that's a little goal, probably to work towards.
Yes.
I think it's important, because it's healthy to get away, even if you're just getting outside of your normal environment or something.
Yes.
In your travels and conversations with people, though, what do you find is the greatest challenge people have with money and finances?
Okay. Well, the first thing is, the good thing about the most excellent thing I think about traveling is a lot of people who travel do have the money to travel. So I'm not saying that everyone who travels is a budgeter, but I have found that a lot of people plan for their vacation. It's not just, oh, let me take a vacation and put it on my credit card. It's, you know what? I want to go somewhere this year. This is how much money I'm going to need. So my family and I are going to allocate X amount.
Mm-hmm.
But outside those people who don't plan, I think probably the biggest challenge is, number one, people do not have a why. And that is one of the most important things for most people getting out of debt. For me, I was just really tired of having to pay other people money. I mean, it was simple for me. So that was motivation. I was like, I'm tired of paying Chase. I'm tired of paying Discover. I'm tired of paying Bank of America. I can go down all the basically top 20 banks or however many. I'm tired of paying them money. But a lot of people need something bigger. So what if you've always wanted to go to Europe?
Right.
That could be your why. Or what if you have children and you want to be able to help them go to college?
Right.
That could be your why. Or what if you just got married and you were never able to take a honeymoon with your husband or your wife?
Yeah.
That could be your why. Or it could be something as simple as, wow, I've always wanted to give back and I've wanted to give a certain amount to this charity that helps with people who have cancer in terms of ministering to them. That could be a why. Right. So I think, number one, that's the most important thing. People need a why, because if you're not, as I would say, money motivated, though just getting out of debt and having the extra money is not enough for you to stay focused. So that's number one. The number two thing is that most people are not taming the want impulse, meaning they know what I've realized, and this is alarming. I go to a seminar. Well, now I'm basically going every other month. I want to give a plug for that seminar, DannyJohnson.com. And a lot of people have paid off a lot of debt through those seminars. And I was speaking with one lady, and who was my roommate, and she was, I was telling her my testimony, and I was like, yeah, last year I paid off over $56,000 worth of debt, and I'm 100% debt free, and it's great. And she said, I want to do that. I want to do that, but I've been debating, should I, get another job, or, because I work part-time. And I said, okay. And I said, you're married, right? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, how much more money would you need? Or what is your surplus every month? Or what is your deficit every month? And she didn't know. So I was saying to her, I said, do you realize that you could possibly get out of debt if you knew how much you have left over? Wow. And just something as simple as, if you have a mortgage and if you pay twice a month as opposed to once a month, you can pay off an extra $7,000. For some people, it's almost double that. It could be. So you can use what you have to reduce your debt, but a lot of people, they know the information or they're aware of it, but they're just haven't disciplined themselves to put it into action.
Right. Wow. I think you made a very, very powerful statement about knowing your why. I'm very big on knowing why.
Yes.
Because your why is your motivation.
Yes.
It is the foundation for why you do everything that you do, everything that you make. I don't care if it's finances, health, fitness, relationships, business, job, entrepreneurship, doesn't matter. If you don't have a why,
crickets.
And you're going to be ping, 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 and you can't tame the want impulse. You can't, and if you don't have information.
Yes.
And I think, that's another very important part. If you don't have information, you don't have what you need. You don't have the necessary tools. You can't even find the tools because you don't have enough information to go on. It's like you can't create a goal. She can't create a financial goal when she doesn't know the information that she has to be reflected in those means. And I think those are two very powerful reasons and challenges that people have. And it's why do you believe people have such a difficult time with money and finances?
I think that they haven't made it a priority. I liken a lot, money a lot, and challenges with money have a lot to do the same with challenges of weight and diet. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to lose, not everybody. Most people I know, myself included, wouldn't mind losing a few pounds. Right. But truthfully, have I made any conscious effort to lose any weight on purpose? Have I made a conscious effort to change my diet? To a certain extent, yes. But if I really, really was serious, if I said, for example, I want to lose 20 pounds in 2017, what is my plan to get there?
Right.
You know, one of the seminars I went to, and this really, really struck me. I was, you know, in Los Angeles last month, and this woman was talking about how she made all these goals, like a list of like 50 goals 1 year. And she was saying her husband only made 2 goals. And one of them was to go to the gym. Just to step in the gym. Because he was so smart, because he figured out if he could step in the gym, then most likely he'd work out. But if he didn't, he gave himself the leeway not to work out. And by the end of the year, he had amazing results just because he just said, you know what, I just want to take this baby step and go to the gym like 5 times a week.
Right.
So the key is you do have to have a plan, and making a plan is putting it as a priority. And most people, you know, they just say, like myself, oh, wow, it'd be great to lose 20 pounds. Wouldn't I look great if I lost 20 pounds? Well, what's my plan? It would just be great if I lost 20 pounds.
Right.
I have no plan.
I think, man, you just made a powerful statement. This is a golden nugget, and I hope you guys are taking some notes, but the nugget you just made, your plan doesn't have to be extensive and elaborate. It doesn't have to be 90 miles long. It can be something so simple. Keep it simple. When I grew up, I had a teacher who would say, kids, keep it simple. Well, he would say, yes, but just keep it simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. You know, if it's just like the guy had a simple 2 goals, and the simple goal was to just step in the gym. He didn't say exercise. He didn't say exercise 50 miles, do da 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 da. He just said step in the gym. Sometimes keeping it simple, just making that simple step or that act can lead to some tangible, real results. That's powerful. That's a very powerful statement about just having a goal or having something, but also keeping it simple. Yeah, that is really, man, sometimes we get intimidated by our own goals and aspirations because we overcomplicate things. And I think the other thing is too, it's okay to have a goal aspiration, but if you're not doing anything with it, you can want to save money and you can want to lose weight.
Exactly.
But if you don't have actionable steps and items, and I think it boils down to, you know, what you value. If it's important enough to you, you'll do it. And this came out in our interview with Coach Nadia, and it's probably something that we'll see in a lot of these interviews is if it's important to you, you will do what's necessary. You'll take those steps. You'll put some things into place to make those things a reality for you. You know, but like I said, I think we tend to overcomplicate things, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So shifting gears. I want to ask you, what was the most difficult part about writing Taming the Want Impulse? Did you find, because you're very transparent. Yes. You're very transparent. And that's what I like about the book is because, you know, you really get to see who she was and you get to see the transition.
Right.
Who she was into who she became.
Right.
And it's like, you know, it's amazing. In writing it, did you find being transparent and vulnerable scary?
Yes. In fact, that has been one of the most difficult parts about just quote unquote being an author. I realized that you can give people the steps, you can give people facts about how to do something, but people want to know how you personally overcame. What did you go through in order to make yourself a so-called expert? And so it was embarrassing. I'm going to say when I was writing it down, I was like remembering all the things I went through, like stealing from my brother, stealing from my parents. I mean, just the ridiculousness of just going online. Some of the stuff I didn't even put in the book, like going online, and I kept applying for credit cards because I had run out of money on the credit cards because I was over the limit at 28%.
Wow.
And then I just kept applying for credit cards because I didn't have a computer. So I would go to the library to apply for credit cards.
Wow.
I was just so desperate and out of sorts, and I didn't have a plan. And just at that point, it was, at some point in my life, I was just like, well, what's another $5,000 in debt? I'm already so buried.
Right.
And so it was embarrassing when I was writing and reading about all the stupid mistakes I made, because in my mind, I thought, gosh, why was I doing this? But then I thought, you know what? Someone else can benefit. Right. Because if I can make all these mistakes that don't even make any type of logical sense whatsoever.
Right.
And someone else reads it and says, my gosh, she made those ridiculous mistakes and she's out of debt.
Right.
Then I can get out of debt. I know I can get out of debt. And that girl who wrote Taming the Want Impulse, Temperate the Soul, to achieve your destiny, get out of debt. So that was the whole point. I wanted people to see, wow, I made all these ridiculous mistakes. I blew all this money. I was ignorant, when I was buying my house. Right. I was telling my friend, Coach Nadia, yesterday that when I bought my current car, which I ended up paying off in 8 months, when they brought me back to the office, I immediately said to the guy, nothing, just a loan. Don't try and sell me any bells and whistles. I just want the loan. And the guy looked at me like, what? And I said, yes, because when I bought the car prior, I got everything they offered me because I was so ignorant. So if it was GPS, I got it. If it was a warranty, I got it. Stuff I didn't even need. And I found out like 3 months later, I bought all this stuff I didn't even need. Right. So I just wanted people to know anyone can get out of debt if they put their mind to it.
That's so good. That's so good. A lot of times we don't even realize we're getting stuff that we don't need because again, we're misinformed. And the Bible says that people perish for a lack of knowledge. If you don't know, you can't go. Like I told my mom when she went to go renegotiate for her car, I was like, no, I need you to go do some research.
Yes.
First, because she was buying a car and transitioning to a lease. And I was like, nope, I was like, nope, call Mr. Val. He said he would help you. And if they don't want to give you a good deal, you come all the way down here to Florida. And we can get you a new car and ship it back. It'll probably be a better deal than what she did. And so as a result of her doing the research, she knew what she could walk in there and negotiate with.
Absolutely.
I can't negotiate like so-and-so. I said, Mom, negotiating only boils down to you knowing information.
Yes.
You know the facts. And you know what you know, it doesn't matter what those people are saying because they're trying to sell you anyway.
Absolutely.
You talk to who you need to talk to and you do your research.
Yes.
She went in there and boom, boom, boom. She could have got lower payments, but she kept adding stuff. I was like, Mom, do you need that? But the great thing is, even with her adding stuff, she still got lower payments.
That's good.
So, I love the point that you make about having information and being informed. It really does matter. And I'm telling y'all, you need to go and get Taming the Want Impulse.
Yes.
Y'all need to get that book. Y'all need to get that book. I'm telling you. In the title for chapter 5, you pose a powerful question. And that question is, are you forfeiting your own financial freedom?
Yes.
And my question to you is, what does this mean to you? And what did you want people to come away with after reading that particular chapter?
And that's an excellent question. Well, the first thing I wanted people to realize is to think about, what does that actually mean, forfeiting your financial freedom? Because what people don't realize is we do it every day. If you don't have a plan and you're going to get a $5 coffee and you do that 5 times a week, that's $25 a week, $100 a month. We're talking about like $1,200 plus a year. What could you spend that $1,200 plus on? If you're in debt, you could maybe pay off a credit card.
Come on.
If you're not in debt, you could go on vacation.
Come on.
If you're a charitable person and it's on your heart, you could use it to give. So I wanted people to think, wait a minute, what am I doing when I buy these shoes? What am I doing when I buy this video game? What am I doing when I get the new phone? What am I doing? I get the new technology. Yeah. What exactly is this doing to me long term? Because a lot of people are thinking about their wants. This is what I want right now. And they're not thinking, what could happen a year from now? What could happen 2 years from now, 5 years from now? So that was the first thing. The second thing I wanted people to think about is, why am I so impulsive? Maybe not everyone was an impulsive shopper, or is, but I certainly, I had a plan. Like I said, I used to shop every weekend. Right. I had a plan to spend my way into debt.
Right.
It was just the reverse of the savings. So I knew every weekend I was probably going to spend on shopping alone at least $20. That doesn't include gas to get to the place. That doesn't include the food that I would buy.
Right.
That doesn't include, at that time I went to the movies, and that doesn't include the popcorn. And then back in the day, I used to go out to the club, so that doesn't include the alcohol.
Right.
And all the extras. So a little weekend, which basically I could have spent no money. When I was in debt, I was spending a minimum of most likely $20 all the way up to potentially some weekends $100.
Right.
Why? Because I had a plan to spend my way into debt. Right. So then once I dove into it and I thought, why am I doing this? I realized shopping gave me a high. And I remember I was trying to explain it to my mom. I was like, there was just nothing like shopping. Like, you just get a good deal and you're just like, yeah, it's just awesome.
Right.
And like I was saying to one of my friends, it's not like you don't have to work to get the deal. Mm-hmm. You don't have to like work out and then you're sore and you got the deal. Right. You don't have any like remorse in terms of buyer's remorse because you look good in what you bought. You know, all those shoes are bomb. You know, you're just happy about what you bought. So the only consequence is when you, a month later for me at that time, was like, oh man, I still got all this debt I have to pay. That was the response. So I thought, you know what, people need to think, why am I doing this? And for me, I got a high off shopping. Right. And also it was a way of distracting myself from the fact that I was in debt and people were calling me and I didn't want to answer the phone.
This girl, avoiding those phone
calls. Now, I know other people have been in that situation. They may not say it, but I was just like, well, I'm not going to answer the phone. I'll just go shopping. So right. What are other people's reasons? Some people shop. I remember I have a friend who literally told me that she would buy things for people so they would like her. Wow. Like she was spending money. And the thing is, she wasn't in debt, fortunately. But think about all that money she spent weekend after weekend buying people drinks, buying people food that she could have had in an annuity or in some Roth IRA or in some other type of investment vehicle or something for her nephews, that type of situation. So by doing these little things and not thinking about it, not planning, what are we going to have to show for it a year, 2 years from now? Right. So that was the second part.
Man. No, I think it's so good. I really want to highlight something that you're saying here because it's really important. We're not thinking about the long term.
Yes.
We're looking at short-term gratification and short-term results when it comes to financial freedom and financial management, you need goals that you need short-term goals that lead to long-term gains.
Yes.
It's like investing, any type of investment. I don't have the money to invest in this. I don't have the money to invest in that. You probably do. But like you said, if you don't know, because you don't realize, or if your plan is, I think it boils also down to priorities.
Yes.
Because your priorities my plan was to shop my way into debt, because you weren't thinking long term. But how many people have that same mindset?
Right.
This is what we forfeit our financial freedom. Like, I have a girlfriend who she realized I need to start cooking because I eat out too much.
Right.
Like out of a month, she would probably eat out 20, 25 days a month.
That's a lot of money.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you're talking, or if she didn't have breakfast out, at least 2 meals a day.
Oh, wow.
He was eating out 20 to 25 days a month. Yeah. But we don't see stuff like you said, coffee. Coffee is something real simple. But for Starbucks drinkers,
exactly.
You're out here spending $8 on a latte, venti, and all this other kind of stuff for $8 coffee.
Exactly.
2-3 times a day. Because Starbucks coffee drinkers, they committed. They serious about their coffee.
Yes, they
You're talking about if you're at Starbucks 3 times a day. I don't care if you're getting a venti. I don't care if you're getting the coffee, the iced coffee, the hot chocolate, the tea. I don't care if you're getting the fruit thing, the snacks. I don't care if you're getting a sandwich. You're at Starbucks 3 times a day for 30 days. Take that. And even if you don't buy the $8 coffee, like if you spending $5 every time, that's $15. If you spending $15 a day,
it's a lot of money
for 360 days, because folks don't let up. They go on Sundays. They go on Sunday. And some folks, and if you're sitting there all day, all day and work and not buy.
Right. That's
you're gonna spend $15-$20 because you're probably eating there.
Right.
Not just drinking, you're eating there, you're meeting clients there, you're doing that. And there's nothing wrong with it, but you got to think. $15-$20 a day for 30 days is $60 a month.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Times 12 months.
It's a lot of money.
Like you said, what can you do with that money? But we're thinking short term, and some people, business people, well, it's an investment, I can write it off on my business tax, and that's great, that's fine. But you can meet at the library for free. They got offices and private rooms that you can go into.
Cubicles.
They got it. You can. There are places you can go. You could probably get an executive suite. They have day rates, $5-$10.
That's right.
And
that's right.
And there's lots of different places. You can meet somebody in the park. That's free.
That's right.
I'm not trying to be funny, but there are ways that you, especially if you're a startup business and your finances and your money is funny and change is strange. There are ways and there are resources and there are places you can go to meet people, meet your clients, and that kind of stuff. That like I can meet somebody in the coffee shop and not buy anything.
That's right.
I'm fine.
You can.
Water is good.
That's right.
Old school, swallow your spit, like your mama used to tell you, but eventually you sit there talking, you're going to get dry mouth. But I'm just, bring your water, because
that's right.
Your water with me everywhere.
Yes.
Bring your water.
Absolutely.
So there are things I think, like you're saying, even if you have short-term goals that will lead to a long-term gain, you got to pay attention to what those short-term goals are. So, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's excellent. That is excellent. I agree 100% with everything you said.
Yeah, I think that, that's part of why, and I don't think we even realize that we're forfeiting, like you said, our own financial freedom, because we don't see it as forfeiting, because that's what we want. It feels good at the time.
Exactly. And a lot of people are trying to keep up, because there are some people who are wealthy. But what I've realized, especially now that I've been around more, well, I shouldn't say wealthy. Well, no, I'm going to call them wealthy. Wealthy people, is that wealthy people think about money differently. Wealthy people spend their money differently. A lot of people think that, you can just look at a person and tell that they're wealthy. Not so. I work for a lot of wealthy people. The wealthy people, the companies I work for, the only way you could tell by what they're dressed, how they're dressed, is that they're wealthy, is because you look at their wrist.
Right.
Like legitimately, because they'll just walk in with a polo shirt and jeans, or a t-shirt and jeans. Like, that is their uniform. Right. They're not out to impress, because they know what they have. A lot of these wealthy people, they're not thinking about, one of my former boss was even saying something like that about, like, something about poor people spend their money on
stupid
fast food. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's because they have a different mindset of where their money can go. Their money, they're thinking about what's the next what's the next big thing? And the thing is, it's not just because it's going to make them money. It's because they're passionate about it. Right. It's more about the challenge than the money. The money is a byproduct
right.
of what we're passionate about doing to make it. So we have to change our mindsets, because all of us are investors. The question is, are we investing in coffee to drink, or are we investing in coffee that could be an appreciating asset?
Right.
Like, what are we doing? And, you know, as one thing that I've learned, the best investment that you can make is to invest in yourself.
Right.
You may not see the return immediately, but once you said, you know, as the Bible says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Once you get that knowledge, and the knowledge becomes a revelation,
right,
your life will completely change. And so that was a big part about this book. I wanted people to have a mindset shift about money. Right. Because a lot of people, and I've seen this, because another one of the ways that I got started in terms of focusing on getting out of debt was I had watched a Dave Ramsey CD. My friend had given it to me. So that just confirmed what I was already doing. But the problem is, a lot of people think for some reason you can hear something once and then you've got it. Right. Well, you may have it, but what happens when you achieve that goal? What happens when you do get out of debt? What's the next step? Because I realized that was something that was kind of not a struggle, but it was a struggle for me. When I officially paid off the condo, wait a minute, oh my gosh, what do I do now? Now, fortunately, you know, the Lord has given me another goal, right, which is to invest in real estate. But in the meantime, what do you do from knowing you have this goal that you have to accomplish, but you've got to build your way up to it, and you're not going to see the gains? When I was paying off my debt, I was seeing the gains every week. Mm-hmm. So you have to purposely focus on achieving your goal. You can't just do it by happenstance. Mm-hmm. You know, goals are achieved by habits that are done daily. It's not just one day you do something and then, oh, boom, there's the manifestation. That's not how it works.
Right. It's intentional.
Exactly. And I don't think a lot of people realize it. They just think it's just going to be like, oh, wow, everything worked out and now I'm a multimillionaire. No, it doesn't work that way. People talking about being millionaires, and I'm like, no. What are you doing with your thousandaire status?
There you go.
What are you doing with your thousandaire status? And you think that you're going to be a millionaire, but you're not doing anything with your thousandaire.
There you go. I think the biggest thing is we don't respect money.
Right.
And the way people treat money lets you know how little or how much they respect and honor money. Absolutely. Because money changes hands a lot, but the whole concept of money, like you were saying, you know, rich people or wealthy people, I will say, their mindset and their approach to money is different because they respect it.
Yes.
And people think respect money. Yes, you have to respect the authority that comes with money.
Yes.
Because money opens doors. Money gives you access to more money.
Absolutely.
But if you're not going to respect it with $20, you over here talking about thousands. If you can't respect it with $20 or $100, exactly, you won't respect it with $1,000.
Absolutely.
And it knows you won't. And it knows you won't respect it when you get to 1,000. If you're not respecting it at 1,000, you're not going to respect it when you get to 1,000,000.
Absolutely. So
it's levels to it. So as you increase, you know, you have to, your level of respect for money must grow. It's a maturity issue. Yeah. You know, and I love that you made that statement, that point about it, because, you know, wealthy people are very understated.
That's right.
You don't know they got money, like you said, until you look at that wrist, baby, though. It's little details, little things, right, that they wear.
Yes.
That kind of lets you know, Mark Zuckerberg got the same uniform every day. Day. Not every day. Day.
Every day. Absolutely.
When you see him, what do you see him in? Like his closet probably got the same kinds of jeans and same kind of t-shirt.
Yes.
Why? He's comfortable, but but look at his watch.
Absolutely.
Look at, you know what I mean? So what matters to him is what he invests in. If you look at Bill Gates, he in jeans, a shirt, and he might have a jacket on, but he wearing jeans and a regular shirt. He just throwing that jacket on, you know, it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna throw on a little jacket, you know, suit jacket, but I'm finna throw some jeans on. And very understated, very humble people.
Absolutely.
And I think it really matters because they all have a why, and they understand, they know, they have respect for money. And it's like you said, it's the passion that drives them to those goals and those gains. And I just think that people need to kind of harness that a little bit more and pay more attention to that. And it's like, you know, if you want to get to a certain place financially, you have to study people who are at that level, but also be willing to put in the work. And I really love something you said about listening to information, repetition. So just because you listen to Dave Ramsey once doesn't mean that that's the only time. You have to keep going at it, because as you reach this goal, it's like, what's next? So like, if you get debt free, what is your next goal? Even if you don't know what that is yet, in that waiting period, don't go back in step.
Exactly.
So you have to keep listening to information that will help keep you from going backwards, but going forward, even if you don't know what that next goal is yet, in that interim period. Absolutely. Because sometimes is it not in that interim period where you're challenged the most in what you're going to do next, move forward. So like for you, when you got out of debt, in that interim period of waiting to your next goal, it was like, were you tempted at any time, or even through your process, were you tempted to go back into the old habits? And if you were, what did you do to resist the temptation?
I was not tempted, only because I recalled the pain of what I went through so many times before. I already had, you know, you have to, if you're trying to get out of debt or doing anything, like I said, you have to have a plan. And when I say a plan, you know, typically I have a little budget in here and a breakdown of how you get out of debt, but it goes deeper than that. You have to have a strategy. For me, you know, like I said, when I had my 11 credit cards, I literally had to have a spreadsheet because I couldn't keep track of that stuff in my head. I was like, okay, 200 to this card, 5 to this card. 1.5 to this card. That sounds
$5 was not even covering the interest, but in your mind,
but I had to have a strategy. And so even when I was getting out of debt, and this is going to sound funny when I say it to people, but I had a savings account, but it was a long-term savings in case something catastrophic happened.
Right.
And I have not touched that since in 3 years. It's just there.
Right.
But then I had to actually open up another savings account just so I could transfer that money that I wasn't using in order to transfer it to my mortgage. Because I knew if I kept all the money in the checking account, I had noticed when I'd done that before, I don't know where the money was going. Even though I had a plan and I had a budget, it was like, wait, what am I doing? And something that I want to share, I don't know if I shared this in the book, because it's something that I realized when I was really aggressive last year and paying off the $56,000. One of the biggest things I realized is that I still had fear of not having enough because of what I had done before. And so that's why I say the year before I realized, wow, I could have paid off this mortgage like, well, now I know I could have paid it off a lot sooner, but I didn't know that at the time. But I know I could have paid it off maybe a year and a half sooner, but I was so paralyzed by the thought of, oh my gosh, what if something happens? I need to have this amount in my checking account. I need to have this amount in my checking account. A lot of people don't talk about that because you don't realize, because of what you faced in the past, in your mind, you're like, you're not going back to it. But at the same time, you've kind of locked yourself into a situation where you're not moving forward as quickly as you could because of that fear. And so last year I had to break out of that fear. And I was like, no, I'm not going to be in my mind like I need to have X amount in my checking account at all time. No, I'm breaking past that.
Right.
I'm taking this big chunk
Right.
weekly, and I'm paying it towards my mortgage. And I'm not going to lie, at the beginning, it was very scary to me because I was like, oh my gosh, what if something happens?
Right.
But nothing ever happened.
Right.
Nothing ever. No, I take that back. One time I did overdraft, and I just called the bank and I was like, I've been a customer since 1992, so y'all need to give me my money back. And they did. So, but and they always do. Like, what? But you gotta fight for what's yours because they have the money. They just know that people are careless with their money, and most people aren't going to ask. They're not going to ask.
Right.
Not because you ask it.
Well, I was going to say you do not have because you do not ask. Well, so hey, yeah,
I asked with a quickness, and I asked with a quickness. I was like, look, this hasn't happened since 2008. Can you just give me like my 32, whatever it was back? And they were like, sure, ma'am. So, but the point is, I had to get past that fear of what happened in 2000, 1997, 98, 99, 2000, 2003,
right,
2005.
Right.
And be aggressive with it.
Well, I think that's good because sometimes toxic thoughts do creep up to create fear. And a lot of it is to keep us in bondage, bound to negative things like staying, in debt because now then you're thinking, well, what's the point of all this effort? I may as well just live and die in debt.
Yes.
No, rise above that and push past those thoughts. And it's work. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Absolutely.
So no, I love that point. You provide a lot, and I'm telling you, y'all get this book. Gennet provides a lot of practical tips and applications in the book, Taming the Want Impulse. Got to temper your soul, honey. That what you want all the time. In chapter 6, she gets down to the nitty gritty. In chapter 6, all of it's good. Mm-hmm. All of it's good, but in chapter 6, she really gets down to the nitty gritty. What was your biggest goal for the book? And what did you want people to take away from the book? Or rather, how did you want people to feel after having read the book, Taming the Want Impulse? So it's a two-part question.
That's an excellent question. Well, first of all, I wanted people to feel empowered. That was the biggest thing. As I said in the book earlier, the first time I got out of debt, minus I think I still had some student loans that I owed, but the very first time I went to a credit counselor, and I give many props to the credit counselor because at that point I wasn't ready to do it on my own. But, they took their whatever, $10 a month, and then they paid off. They were like, okay, this is how much money we need from you to pay off your debt. And I gave it to them. Right. And that was excellent because I paid off a significant amount using them. And also it froze the interest rates when I was like 28.8%, 18 to 28.8% on the credit cards.
Right.
That was phenomenal. But the point is because I did not do it on my own. This is the key. Because I didn't have a revelation and I didn't do it on my own. I went back into debt. That was the main thing. I didn't have a revelation. And I didn't continue doing what I was doing. And so I want people to know you don't need to go to a credit repair specialist, a credit counselor, someone even like me. You don't need to.
Right.
I can help you, but you don't need to pay someone to do it. Do it on your own and keep that money and use it to pay off your debt. Right. And start now and don't look back. Right. That's the main thing that I wanted people to know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think that, guys, I really hope you're hearing her heart and understand where she's coming from. This is a real person who's been through real stuff. Like, this is her personal experience. This isn't just something that somebody read and they went to school and in theory this should work. No, this is somebody who has applied these principles and it has worked. Who do you know personally in your life that has paid off not $500, not $56, $56,000 of debt in 1 year? Who you know? Go ahead, I'll wait. Really? This is a real person who is sharing real truth of what she did, and she's sharing it with you. You know, it's like, bam, don't get no better. You need to get this book. Like, now, don't wait.
Yes.
Go on over to Amazon and get your copy, baby. I'm so serious.
Yes.
So do you see yourself ever working with people to help them develop healthy financial habits? And if so, how and when can we?
Yes, that's an excellent question. And I'm going to be honest. Before I wrote the book, I had actually started individual coaching sessions. Awesome. And I learned a lot from those individual coaching sessions. And that's another part of the reason why I wrote the book, because I realized a lot of people, how can I say this? Again, it's taming the want impulse. They won't hold themselves accountable. Right. And my job at that time wasn't necessarily to hold them accountable. It was to say, wow, we went through this budget. Do you realize you have this much extra a month that you could use towards paying off your debt? Right. So you just need to start applying that.
Right.
But sometimes people get excited when their tax return comes in. They lose their, I'm just giving an example. A lot of people lose their minds. They just vacate. It's like they just forget everything. And it's just like, oh, well, let me go buy this and that. And I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, you're paying me to help you. And you just blew your tax return on this nonsense. And you could have literally been debt free off this one tax return.
Right.
But
right.
That's when I realized, wait a minute, if in the future, when I have one-on-one clients, I need to be more particular. Everybody wants to get out of debt. And it's just like, I'm sure Coach Nadia, I don't know if she shared this with you or not, you cannot, and it's just like, even for you, for what you do, you can't want something more than you're trying to. You can't.
Right.
Because all of us, the bottom line is, we do want to help people in our own way.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see people making progress and then they veer off, and don't get me wrong, because the road to success is very rarely perfectly up. There are lots of ups
and downs,
but the point is that you keep going and the downs are not as drastic.
Right.
They become smaller.
Right.
So it's fine if you make a mistake or 1 month you're like, oh my gosh, I blew it and whatever. That's fine. Just get back on the plan. Right. Get back on the horse and ride forward.
Right.
But when you see a tax return or you get a settlement and, oh my gosh, I just, girl, I don't know. I just went to Macy's and I just spent $500. I just, it's very frustrating. So at that point I said, you know what? I think I'm just going to have to spend this coaching until I get more mature to where I'm not frustrated with the people. So I will be doing individual coaching starting in 2018. And in terms of, I'm also planning on starting some group coaching classes as well.
Awesome.
And that's probably going to be online, but I'm looking at some classrooms as well. So, but that won't be until, like I said, about probably 9 months from now.
Y'all heard it first here.
Yes.
So y'all know we got this.
Yes.
I told y'all she gonna be bigger than the Budgetnista. I told y'all right here. You heard it first, honey. You heard it first here. That's good stuff. I love it. I like what you said about people, being responsible with their spending, but also, knowing who to work with, because like everybody don't want help as much as we want it, and you can't want it. You're right. You cannot want it more than they want for themselves. But, and something that came out in our interview with Coach Nadia was about how people really kind of want health and fitness for short term.
Yes.
They have a short-term goal. I just want to fit in this dress for this one time, but it's really a lifestyle. And the same thing with financial management. It's a lifestyle change, and you have to get conditioned to handling money and finances differently. And a lot of it is reprogramming your mind from everything that you've been taught or not taught, that you had to teach yourself.
Yes.
And really learn the proper way to manage money and finances and understanding, first of all, credit cards, the whole racket of credit cards.
Absolutely.
And, payday loans and these lending places and, all of this stuff that's supposed to help you. That's really not, you're throwing your money away, but we don't realize that.
That's right.
And there's nothing wrong with getting started with some of these companies, these credit companies to help you get started. But once you get started and get on your way, be informed and have people who can help counsel you and really get you to where you really want and need to be financially. I went to a workshop, and some of these things bother me. I just made up in my mind that I'm not going anymore to some of these things. But something the gentleman said bothered me, and I was just like, I didn't agree with it. And so, and just let me put a pin in this and say, everything that sounds good isn't good. Right. You have to know that when you go to some of these seminars, you got to eat the meat and throw the fat and the bones away. I'm gonna unpin that. So back to what my point was. He said something that bothered me. He said, and this is for people who are in business. He said, once you start making money, and this wasn't even about business. This is how he made money. He was like, once you start making money, you don't pay off your debt. You reinvest it in your business. Or you find another way to reinvest. And I kind of had issue with that, But again, to each his own. Because if you're making $1 million off of an investment, and you only got like $20,000 in debt, you got enough money to pay off your debt and reinvest in your business.
Yes, yes.
So I think it's important to be able to know what these people are talking about, and to be careful where you're going, because this is the kind of teaching that people are getting when they're out at these seminars from people who they feel are credible. These are people who are carrying big names, and they're sharing this kind of information with folks. And it's like, I get it, but you know what I mean? So it's kind of a catch-22. Let me make $1 million in my business. Trust and believe. I already have my plan for, in my organization, I got tuition reimbursement, a tuition reimbursement program. And, I got this for the company and that for the company. And there's ways that you can invest in your company, but also invest in your people to help them get their debt down, and other ways to do it. But to just flat out say, don't pay your debt off right away, but take it to reinvest. Why not say, take a portion of it and reinvest, and then start, I just, and maybe it's just me, maybe I'm wrong, because I am not a financial expert. This ain't what I do. This is why we have here. But, what are your thoughts on that kind of counsel or advice, or, when people hear stuff like that? Because again, these aren't, but these are people who are, pretty credible, and they've got some reputation to them, and they're walking around, but these are also people who are flossing. When I say floss, I mean, they're wealthy, but they don't have the wealthy mindset. These are people who I would consider rich, because to me, there's a difference between rich and wealthy.
Yes.
Okay, the mindset of a rich person is very different. Rich people are very flashy. They want you to know they got money. They want to know it all, honey. It's going to be bling, bling, bling. And it's going to be this here. And I got to wear $1,000 custom-made tailor suit. And, this fit got to be this and da-da-da-da-da. And I got to have this card. And I got to have that. And, honey, I got to fly private and da-da-da.
Yes.
Whereas a wealthy person they very well may fly private, or they might, or they might fly commercial. They're going to be in first class, so they probably ain't going to be coached. But I'm just saying, but they're not going to have that tailored suit unless they're doing a presentation or a business deal. And even then, Mark Zuckerberg probably don't own a suit. If he do, he closing a business deal in some jeans and a shirt.
That's right.
So there's a difference between rich and wealthy. And so I've noticed that when I go to a lot of these workshops that seminars, again, I've just made up in my mind, I'm not going anymore, because first of all, you can't talk to everybody the same way. So anyway, but I'm noticing that a lot of these workshops are full of people who are rich, but they're not wealthy.
That's right.
And there is a difference, and it's like, I don't want to learn from a rich person. I would rather learn from a wealthy person because they have a respect for money. And they're saying the same things, but it's how they are saying it. And then some of them are saying totally different things. I can sit and listen to Warren Buffett all day. Sometimes I'll sit here in my office at home, and I'll just go on YouTube and just listen to Warren Buffett. And I've literally just sat and just taken notes, just listening to him about investments and money, and just how he came up and who his mentors were. And I'm telling you right now, I don't take advice from anybody that don't have a mentor. Exactly. And I need to know who your mentor is and how credible is your mentor, because somebody should always be guiding you and helping you, and that kind of stuff. And I think it's very important. We got somebody right here who, she's already told she's listening to Dave Ramsey, and these are principles. She got the Bible. You can't get no better than God as a mentor.
That's right.
But, you've got people like Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey's program works. It works. It's real. It works. Why? Because it's based on a set of principles. And, so you have people, and you want to look into their history and look at who they're talking to and who they're listening to, who they're taking advice and counsel from, because everything that sounds good isn't good. It may have worked for them, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So, what are your thoughts when you hear?
Wow. Well, several things come to mind. The first thing that comes to mind is before I made the decision to pay off my mortgage in January of last year, I to be honest, I wasn't going to do it. I was like, okay, you know what? I've slacked on, because I wasn't financially responsible. I'd slacked on planning for retirement. Once you get in your 40s, it's kind of like, wait, I'm in my 40s. What do I have? So I was like, you know what? I have an investment, and for the next 6 years, it's guaranteed a minimum 8% return.
Oh, that's good.
So I was like, okay, I'm just going to save as much money possible as I can this year, and I'm going to throw all that money at that 8% investment. But then, so I didn't have a peace about it. And again, like I said, I went to Danny Johnson's seminar, and for some reason, I can't even remember what the lady said, because she just said one sentence, and I was like, I can do this. I don't know how I'm going to make the money or where it's going to come from or how I'm going to do it, because I'd already done the numbers. And on paper, it did not make sense that I'd be able to pay off the 56,000+. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. And then the following, the rest of the time, I'll spend that money, towards the annuity. And so somehow the money came in. And there's something that I did not address earlier that I really need to talk to people who consider themselves followers of Jesus Christ. It's a big part of the book. If you're a believer and you really want to get out of debt, you have to tithe. It is a fact. It is not an option. I don't understand how people think they can afford not to tithe. There really is, and whatever, people can say, oh my gosh, this is Old Testament, whatever. No, it's not Old Testament. No. It's a principle that was established in the garden, okay? And that's basically where we are, because Adam and Eve didn't respect the law of the tithe. That's how we got to where we are, and we're not all in the garden having a good time eating cannolis. So the point is, because I like chocolate, but the point is it's not negotiable, because you've got to give the person who is responsible for all the blessings that you have, you've got to give him his 10%. And you should be happy and honored to give the Lord his 10%. It should be like, thank you, Lord, that you're giving me this opportunity to give this back to you.
Right.
It's not yours anyway.
Right.
None of what you own is yours. You're just a steward over it. Go ahead. Even if you've given, this is so important. I really need believers to hear this.
Yes.
Even when you've given your 10%, it doesn't stop there.
No.
Because the Lord may want more from you. And it's not about him. It's about you being a blessing, because we're all here to be a blessing.
Yes.
And you have no idea not only what it could do for someone else, but how the downloads you're going to get. Do you guys think that Dr. LaTanya has written the books that she has just because she's smart and she's a doctor? Do you think she just, she's a smart and she's a doctor, so that's why she has so much information on global leadership, leadership development, training leaders? Why? Because she's just because of the schooling? No. It's because she's a giver. She's not just a giver financially. She gives into people. She sows into people. She sows her time, talent, and she sows her money. And as a result of that, she gets these downloads. I mean, I haven't asked her this, but I know she gets these supernatural downloads. Of course, she has to put it to work. Right. She has to write down and she has to work on what she's getting from what she's been given. But the point is that stuff just doesn't come by happenstance. Right. It doesn't come. It comes by giving. And that's why you see a lot of people, believers, let's keep it real, a lot of people in the world have prospered and are making the believers look like, why are the believers poor? Because the rich people who don't even know God are already executing on these principles. How is it that someone like a Bill Gates has a Bill Gates Foundation, is trying to get computers to third world countries, trying to do things with water? Why is it all these people who become millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires are looking to give back? Because they've tapped in. They may not realize that they've tapped into the power of giving, but it gets to a point where you have so much money, you want to do something other than just accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. So I'm just saying this to all the believers, because if you do not tithe and you have a revelation, you're supposed to tithe. Like, if you're supposed to do it and you're not doing it, you're not going to get ahead. I'm sorry.
You're saying, when you don't tithe, what you're saying is, God, I don't trust you.
That's right. Right. Because you have a revelation
to provide for me. I don't.
That's right. Yes. You were saying, God, I don't trust you. I don't trust your word. I don't believe in your word. And if he said, if you can't be faithful over unrighteous mammon, how is he going to trust you with the true riches? Right. How is he going to give you an invention? How is he going to give you a book? How is he going to give you a download to where you could change something in the world? If you can't give him a dime out of every dollar? So I'm just saying, for those of you who aren't, you need to test God, as it says in Malachi. You need to test him. Because if you're not,
pressed down, shaken together, and running over, honey.
That's right. Because if you're not, you may think you're getting ahead and you're trying to pay debt. I'm afraid to see what's going to happen to your car. I'm sorry.
Right.
Or you just.
And it's so simple to start. I'm going to be honest with you. When I first got started, when it was a dime out of a dollar, I literally would put 10 cents away.
Yeah.
Every paycheck I would get, if I would get paid every week or every two, I was so serious about it. I would calculate what it would be. And it's before taxes, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Okay? Before Uncle Sam get his.
Yes.
It's before Sam's. Before Sam.
Yes.
And it would get challenging. And to be honest, the more money, it was easy when I didn't make a whole lot of money. But the more money you make, it's like you start seeing it like, wait a minute, hold up. No. What's in your heart?
Exactly.
Is your heart really towards God? Because now it's like, no. And if I get attacked in my finances or whatever, then I understand. But I'm still giving.
That's
I have given to the point that you give and you just be like, okay, where this come from? Oh, that's an attack in my finances, the blood of Jesus. Because it's like, where you come from? Like, wait, that's a lie. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop giving.
Right.
If you attack my finances, trust me, I can still sow somewhere else because I can help somebody.
That's right.
I can do this. I can do that. And I'm constantly looking for ways where I can help other people. Yes. And people be like, what can I give you for? How much are you going to charge? Whatever you want to give me. If you don't give me nothing, I don't care. It doesn't matter, because guess what? That's a seed I've sown. God's going to give it back to me. Yes. Increase is coming some other way, in some capacity. We put these in this series of interviews in my spirit for a reason, in my belly for a reason. Yes. And I've just been reaching out. I got 2 more people. Every time I started with Coach Nine, then he gave me you. And he's just giving me another person. And when I interview that person, he's going to give me the next person. And I don't know how long it's going to last. Yes. It's just like when I had a prayer call for 2 years. I didn't know how long it was going to last when I first started it. But 2 years, and it was just like, I ain't got nothing else for y'all. And I'm done. Like, it's over. Like, when it's over, it's over. Like, I did devotionals for like a year, and after the devotionals is, I ain't got nothing more. So I'm going to keep doing something that I ain't got. Like, I don't got nothing else for you. I don't want to tell you. But it's like you said, confident. Let me tell y'all something. My latest book, The A+ Leader, When I tell you I wrote that book in 4 days, I wrote that book in 4 days.
Amazing.
4 days.
Amazing.
4. My second book, Pillars for Christian Mentoring, I lied to you not, I wrote that book in like 2 weeks. My third book, I literally wrote all of that book in 2 days. Well, at least most of that book. And then I hit a brick wall. Like, I literally only have 3 chapters left. But I was like, okay, I'm stuck. But then it's like, it's a season. That book is not supposed to come out. So now it's going to come out next year. But it's like, oh, okay, well, why am I hitting this brick wall? Okay, I'm not meditating enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not giving enough. Where am I missing the download? It could be a matter of time. It could be a matter of something else. But I'm always looking for why I'm hitting this brick wall, because when I write, it just flows. Like, literally, I don't even realize. I literally one day wrote like 8 pages. And I didn't even realize. It was just awesome. That much of a download. So when she said I get that, I do get that. It's just like, don't talk to me. I'm in the flow. I'm like, I'm in the flow. I ain't answering the phone. If the phone ringing, I don't even hear the phone, because it literally flows like that. And my editor's like, I love it. What else you got? What else you got? But I'm constantly, like she said, looking for opportunities to help people, to get a seed in the ground somewhere. I don't care if it's money. I don't care if it's my talent. If God has given it to me and there's a way that I can help somebody else in some capacity. See, you can't be greedy and want to be financially free. It just doesn't work that way. And God is not blessing people with wealth, with increase to consume on their own lust, meaning consume for themselves.
That's right.
Because if that's the motive of your heart, you can't be trusted.
That's right.
And again, that's what you're telling money is, I don't respect you.
That's right.
So it's all of it is a cycle, and it's really, really important. And I love that you put that plug in there about believers, because a lot of believers, we don't have a revelation of that, or we'll go, when it comes to giving, it's like we cringe at that point of offering time. Do y'all understand that offering is part of worship? Like, when you give, you're worshiping God.
Yes.
So where is your heart? The Bible said where your treasure is, there will be your heart also.
Yes.
So you don't get excited about giving, but you hooping and hollering and flipped and then cried buckets of tears and got snot rolling through the whole service. But when giving this, you got this wall of you, man, you got attitude. What happened? Worship didn't stop. Worship keep going. She's laughing, but I'm so serious. Like, worship keeps going. This is worship. You got to worship God in your giving. You got to, give him your heart, and God want to be in your finances too.
Yes.
You want to know why we can't we can't shift our mind from a poverty mindset. Only God can do that, because we have to give him what's in our hand. Yeah. And if we're not willing to release what's in our hand and give it to him, he can't free our mind from that poverty mindset of lack and insufficiency. So we'll always have our hands closed like this. Yes. But if your hands are closed like this, how can anybody put anything in your hand?
Yes. Absolutely. I agree.
So it's so much to that. I'm just telling you that. And I'm so glad you put that in there about that tithe, because I'm telling you, tithing is real. It's fundamental. And the world has caught hold of it. These people who are making all this money, that they aren't believers, but guess what? God's principles don't change. It don't cut off.
That's right.
They tapped into it. There's people who are teaching it. Dave Ramsey is teaching biblical principle. That's why it works.
Yes.
You don't have to. It works.
That's
God's word said it will not return to him void, but it will accomplish that which it's sent it to do. Guess what? It's in the Bible, how to manage your money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And every believer, I want to also add this, every believer that when I was coaching the one-on-one, and if they were having financial problems and it didn't add up, I said, even tithing? And they shook their head, and I said, oh, well.
There you go.
And then they would resume, and things would start falling into place. So just do it.
Right.
Just make a commitment to do it and watch how your finances are going to change, and also your heart. Watch how your heart and your mindset, most important, your heart and your mindset's going to go through a shift at some point.
Right.
So that's very, very important. And wait, one more thing to say, and
go ahead.
This is just back to your question also. One of the biggest things I learned last year, because, you know, once I got out of debt, I was like, okay, no matter what happens, I don't want to ever go back into debt again.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to a seminar and somebody was saying something, you know, he was giving an example about real estate, and, you know, people were asking, well, what about this deal? Or what about that deal? And how should it be structured? And the biggest thing, and his name is Toby, but the biggest thing Toby had said was 3 things when it comes to any type of deal: calculate, calculate, calculate. So that means, for example, if there's an opportunity for you and you've done the numbers and you're sure of your numbers,
Mm-hmm.
for you to buy real estate, but you would have to get a loan, but what the end of the month you're making money, you're in the black. If you're comfortable with that, that's something to consider, because you're making money.
Right.
Now, if you're not going to make any money, then don't do it.
Right.
So for some people, you know, it depends. For some people, they're going to be like, well, wait, if I can make money, you know, if I buy this property for $50,000 and I get a loan, and then I'm going to end up making $1,000 a month after deductions, etc. There's debt, but you're making money, and it's a recurring stream of income that you're making, and then you're going to be able to pay it off really quick.
Right.
And you'll still have that money coming in.
Right.
So I think it's something, you know, for everyone. That's why you have to know where you stand when you talk about risk. Are you conservative?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a risk taker? You know, where do you stand? Because there's certain things, if you're actually going to come out ahead, it might make sense. You know, for me at this point, I'm still believing that I'm going to get my property debt free. So seriously believing it. I mean, I'm still working towards that in the natural, but I personally don't want to take on any debt.
Right.
But I'm just saying, if the opportunity arises and it's just like, oh, well, this is something I have to borrow, and I would make like $1,000, and I just got to borrow like 20,000. And I know in my mind, wait, I've done the numbers. I know worst case, I could pay this off in like 2 years and I'd still have this recurring stream of income. Something to consider. So I think it's different for everybody. What is your risk tolerance, and how serious are you about staying out of debt? Some people, like, I don't know if you've heard of Jesse Duplantis.
Yes.
He's just like, oh no, man, anything but love for one another. Romans 13:8. He just lives by that. He's like, yeah, no, I have faith for a debt-free building. That's it. I'm not borrowing from you guys.
Right. I love him. He's so hilarious. I love him. I really do. I just love his teachings. I just love his personality. I really do. He's amazing. And all I can say is it works. God's principles work. There are people who live off of the 10% and time 90%.
Yes, absolutely. That's the goal.
And it's like the more they get, the more they give, the more they get. They can't give it away fast enough. Because they're just living off of the 10% and they give away the 90%. I'm telling you, if people can live off of 10% of their income and be good,
yes,
that means it works.
Yeah.
And she's giving you she's giving it to you in this book, and you need to get it. You go Amazon right now.
Yes.
Get your book, honey.
Yes.
Please. Y'all need to go get this book. Taming the Want Impulse. Tempering. I'm telling you, I'm so serious. You guys you really need to get this book. So how can people contact you if they want advice or counseling on taming their want impulses? Where can they purchase the book? We know they can get on Amazon. If they want an autographed copy, how can they get that?
Yes.
Where can they find information and tips and some good nuggets from Author Gennet Thompson?
Yes. Well, right today, go to Facebook and Gennet.Thompson, GENNET.Thompson. So just add Gennet.Thompson, like my page, message me, and I'll give you 20% off a hard copy.
Shut up!
So that's much cheaper than the Amazon price. So
just saying, y'all just got it here. 20% discount.
Yeah, 20%.
Sounds to me like you need to go and get that in. Like right now.
That's right.
Get on over. Yes. She's also on Twitter, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen.
Yes.
I'm telling you guys, she's phenomenal. She's a wonderful person, great woman of God. I'm so grateful that she's taken this time out to share with us about her book, Taming the Want Impulse, teaching us how to temper our soul and how to really manage finances, how anybody, everyday people, just you and I, we can be financially free, and how to stop forfeiting financial freedom.
Absolutely.
Man, I'm telling you, I just love that whole chapter. I'm telling you. But you guys, I'm telling you, she's giving you some really practical tips on how you too can get out of it. This is a live, real person. I'm trying to tell y'all, this is somebody who $56,000 in debt in 1 year. If she can do it, so can you.
Yes.
These principles don't change. It's not respect, God, it's only going to work for this person over here. It ain't going to work for me. Lies you tell. It's going to work for you.
Yes,
You just got to put in the work and be disciplined to stick to the plan. A lot of times I talk with my clients, they get off track is because you're not disciplined, and you need accountability partners. All that's good, but at the end of the day, we can't make you do the work. You have to be committed. You have to commit to doing the work. Absolutely. To get past the fear, get past all those toxic feelings and thoughts and emotions, all that stuff that comes into the play. But you too can be financially free. You too can tame the want impulse.
Yes.
Thompson tells you how to do it in her book, have I said the book enough, y'all? Taming the Want Impulse. Just tame it, folks. But seriously, I'm telling you, you can do it.
Yes, you can.
Why she's been transparent and letting you know. I mean, this is somebody who she's telling in the book she was stealing from her parents and all this stuff. This is stuff that you don't even realize. How many people are doing it? People are doing this. Yeah. We hear people stealing from their parents to go buy drugs, to go do this, to go do that. It doesn't matter why you do it.
Yeah.
She was in a spiral in financial debt, but she did it.
Yes.
And you can do it.
Yes.
Trust me. The whole point of the book is what she wanted to empower you to know that you can do it. I think it's amazing. She shared some great stuff with us today. Please, please, please like her Facebook page, Gennet.Thompson, Gennet. It's scrolling down the bottom, folks. Trust me, you want to get in touch with her, connect with her, follow her. 2018, y'all.
Yes.
You heard it right. Champ.
Yes.
Not right here, right. Champ.
That's
you heard it first. We got a first time exclusive with Coach Nadia. Now we got a y'all, look at all these exclusives. I'm telling you, when God tell you to do something, do it, honey.
Yes.
So I love it. I'm loving it. I'm telling you guys, you got the scoop here 2018. She's going to be taking on new clients. I'm telling you, it's an investment worth it. If you're ready to step out, get the book first. You ain't got to wait 2018 to get the book. Get the book now.
Get out of debt now.
You can get out of debt now. In 2018, then you want to get ahead, she'll be taking you on. She'll be taking you on. And if you're not local to Florida, she going to find a way to online.
Yes.
Not help y'all. Hope y'all. She gonna give you some hope on how to be financially free. I'm serious, you guys. Make sure you get out there. Go online. She's offering 20% discount. Inbox her, message her on Facebook, Gennet.Thompson. She's on Facebook. But if you just want to pay that extra, go on over to Amazon. We ain't mad about that either. However you want to get it, make sure you buy the book. I'm so serious. She's giving you some practical tips, and this stuff works. $56,000 in debt, paid off in 1 year.
Yes.
Telling you, you look at $56,000 in debt and think that you won't be depressed and feel like you'll never get out. You can get out too. Trust me. She went through all the emotions. She can help you. Seriously. Make sure you guys get this book. I really want to thank her so very much. Thank you so much for giving us your time, sharing and pouring into this recording. I really just want to let people know that they too can come out and do some of these things and get the resources. These are credible resources. And ain't just some fly-by-night stuff that she just pulled out the air and did some research and said, this sounds good. I'm just going to throw this together. No. this is her real life. This is her experience, and she's sharing it with you and her passion to really help you and all of us really tame the want impulse so that we can be free and not forfeit our financial freedom. I love that. Not forfeiting your financial freedom. So you can travel and do the stuff that you want to do. Live, really, really live and enjoy your life. So do you have any parting words that you want to share with us before we leave today?
Get the book.
Yes.
Follow the instructions, and for real, anybody can get out of debt. Anyone can do it. It doesn't matter how much money you owe. Right. And it's very important that you do it now. Right. Because if you continue to go on the path, what kind of results are you going to have a year from now? Right. You're not working on paying off your debt. You want to pay it off now. So when you have more money, you're going to be investing it and investing wisely instead of spending it. That's so Go and tame the want impulse. Start taming the want impulse by getting the book. Yes. And applying it. Awesome. Thank you so very much again for your time, for sharing with us. You guys, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you. And as always, we're sending you lots of love and light. Yeah.